introduce our distinctive speaker today, Minister Budi Dewajani. She's an excellent person who has great track record in the Indonesian bureaucracy. I'm going to read a little bit of her history so that you appreciate the value that she's bringing into this platform and the value that we can learn from her presentation today. Forgive my eyesight. Okay, Ms. Budi Dewajani, she's a Deputy Chief of Mission here at the Embassy of the Republic of Indonesia since September 2016. With her, she brought rich experience. A few of her appointments, if I may read, she was the head of Center for International Cooperation for the Ministry of Health of the Republic of Indonesia between 2012 to 2015. So she brought with her rich experience in this area. She was a minister counselor and head of chancery for the Embassy of Indonesia in Brussels, for European Union and Belgium in 2010 to 2012. Again, she has brought with her a rich experience of cooperation between countries. She's bringing that to the Philippines, and now she's sharing that with us. That's just a few of her experience. I can read. It's going to take a long time, but it represents what she has to offer. Now, just a little bit about her background. She was born in Yogyakarta. This is known as student city. Am I correct? Yeah, it's known as a student city. You know, it's a beautiful place. You should take time to visit Yogyakarta. It's rich in culture. Yeah, rich in culture. You're going to enjoy the place. I've visited the place only once. I would like to go again. That first visit leaves deep impression. So I really would like to go again. And you need to go and visit Indonesia, especially Yogyakarta. So she was born in Yogyakarta, Indonesia. She graduated from one of the best university in Indonesia, University of Gajah Mada in Yogyakarta. She majors in communication, and she did her master's from Bond University in Queensland, Australia. Again, majoring in communication management. You know, so her education background supplements and complete her career. She's bringing that into the platform today. So I would like to invite Minister Budi Dewajani to please come and take the platform and share with us your rich experience and knowledge about the industry.
Dr. Kenneth Swansea, thank you for the nice word. Oh, you.
I'm Leroy.
Okay, Mr. Leroy, thank you so much for the nice words about me. Actually, he is exaggerating things. Professor Stephen Guptill, IAS President, Honorable Miss Dr. Samuel Gailworth, Acting Dean of Graduate School, Honorable Dr. Kenneth Swansea, Head of Business Department of IAS, Professor Eric Nasution, distinguished guests, speakers, participants, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, selamat pagi, magandang umaga. It is indeed a great honor and privilege for me to be here, to stand in front of you this morning to join the very important event that has been organized, jointly organized by the one of outstanding university in the Philippines, the Adventist International Institute of Advanced Studies, and the Embassy of Indonesia. First of all, allow me to take this opportunity to extend the very warm greeting from the Ambassador of the Republic of Indonesia, His Excellency Mr. Sinyo Sarundajang, And Mr. Sarundajang also sent his apology for not being able to be with us this morning. The ambassador has to attend with the 10 ASEAN ambassador in a meeting this morning. So, but I would like to read the message of the ambassador to all of you for this specific event. Once again, my ambassador sent his greeting, and then he said this is a good opportunity for him to share with you on tourism aspect in Indonesia. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished participants, 10 years ago, while commemorating 60 years of diplomatic relation between Indonesia and the Philippines, I framed the Pacific era within the concept of global development in the sense that those countries will become a global power. In that regard, it was very clear that Indonesia and the Philippines, as two countries in the Asia-Pacific region, were the two major nations which could have played an important role. It is indisputable that geographically, both Indonesia and the Philippines are in the midst of Pacific region, surrounded by the world economic prime mover countries such as China, Japan, South Korea, Australia, and the United States of America. Considering our geographical nature, the maritime and marine sectors also became an important agenda of economic development for tourism in both Indonesia and the Philippines. Since 2015, the Indonesian government has intensively focusing on promotion Indonesian marine tourism since Indonesia is an archipelago having more than 17,504 islands and coastal area that offer so much to so many attractions to explore. Let me now touch upon the issue of tourism and hospitality industry to boost our economy. I think we are all agree that tourism plays an important role in the economy. It is an engine of economic growth for one country's prosperity. Sustainable tourism at least has three related facets. One is environmental aspect, second is socio-cultural, and the third one is economic development. What can tourism do to the country economy? For so many countries, tourism is incredible labor-intensive concept. Tourism activity will create many different opportunities for many different concerned industries, such as transportation, accommodation, hotels, food and beverage, restaurant, retailers, and many, many more. In other words, tourism industry creates so many job opportunity to satisfy such demands. Tourism directly affects an economy ability to preserve nature. Most tourism destinations attract visitors because their stunning scenery and picturesque landscape. A concept called the multiplier effect of the tourism industry, which assumes that if the money is spent locally, then it more likely it will stay in the local economy. If tourism is managed well and tourist countries are spent well locally, then the economy will experience a direct boost. Tourism among those of the highest grossing industry and at the same time the greatest people moving pursuit. Aside from the fact that tourism play an important role in economic development, it is also help people in understanding various different culture, geographical and historical facts of other countries. It opened the whole new doors to the world for a traveler to expand their horizon by being exposed to different living style, culture, custom, belief, as well as goods and services that the world has to offer. Tourism and hospitality are correlated and grouped together into one industry. Under this view, I would like to have a position that all tourism involve and include travel, but not all travel is tourism. Traveling is the most effective way to see places, to understand people while experiencing new cultures they encounter. Each tourist is different from the other, for each has different purpose. There are many kind of tourism activity. It's from recreation tourism, cultural tourism, natural tourism, pleasure tourism, sport tourism, and now become more and more famous among us lately is medical or health tourism. As I mentioned earlier, that uh, tourism is the most strategic area in our economic development. Marine tourism is one of the most attractive point that both Indonesia and Philippines can offer to the world. Marine tourism has developed over century. It began around 750 long years ago when the Western European people start to explore the world. Indonesia and the Philippines, being both archipelagic in nature, is open the opportunity to use their coastal and marine resources to boost their tourism industry. Both countries are gifted with pristine beaches, panoramic landscape, and seascape, lush of greenish and diversified nature. Marine tourism utilizes the potential of marine nature. There is a popular saying that goes, if you have it, flaunt it. It would be easier for country to develop, promote, and make use of what it has. Being an archipelago and largest in the world, the largest archipelago in the world, Indonesia's most precious asset are its marine, of course, its marine resources. It gifted with vast coastal and marine beauty, not to mention its rich and diverse culture. Having blessed with such abundance, Indonesia established itself as a leading destination for marine visitor. Indonesia government, Indonesian government explored the country maritime tourism potential and at the same time built an important infrastructure such as airport, seaport, roads that connect of its more than 17,500,000 islands. Indonesian welcomed 15.8 million foreign tourists in 2018. Or in other words, it is 13% increase compared to 2017. Indonesia set an optimistic target on the tourism in 2019 of more than 20 million arrival by the end of 2019. Indonesia aims to upgrade its profile as a tourism destination apart from Bali. I know that everybody know Bali, but not many know the rest of Indonesia. Well, Bali is Bali. It is already known as it is. Bali alone enjoy more than 6.5 million tourist arrival last year, exceeding its target in 2018. But Indonesia wanted to maintain sustainability of our resource over the years, so it diversified the destination it has to offer. Indonesia defocused for a while on Bali and tried to distribute the benefit of tourism evenly throughout the country. Indonesia, a part of the existing tourism destination, Bali and Lombok, Indonesia began to concentrate its effort in developing and promoting four other new priority destinations, namely Labuan Bajo, all in eastern Indonesia. The gateway to Komodo Island, if you are aware that Komodo is one big lizard and you can find only in Komodo Island in Indonesia. Secondly, Indonesia also would like to boost more on Borobudur, the 9th century Buddhist temple and very famous in the world because this is among the 7 wonders of the world and a UNESCO site in Central Java. The third target that we would like to develop further is Mandalika. Mandalika is in Lombok, the next island after Bali, a fast resort currently being developed in Central Lombok. And the fourth is Lake Toba. Lake Toba situated in northern part of Sumatra. This is the one of the world's largest volcanic caldera lake in near the Medan, North Sumatra. Ladies and gentlemen, Indonesia also aims to upgrade its profile as tourism destination from Bali, as I already mentioned earlier. To support the tourism industry, as soon as President Jokowi assumed office in 2014, he pushed for infrastructure and construction of roads, seaport, and airport. This improved Indonesia efficiency and also making it easier for millions of foreigners who want to visit Indonesia to access the destination that they want to go. In 2016, Indonesia established Coordinating Ministry for Maritime Affairs as a sign of his seriousness in developing Indonesia's largely untapped marine potential. His signature program includes the sea toll. We would like to build sea toll to shortening dwelling time in the ports and as well as boosting connectivity between outer islands. Reinvigorating beaches around the nation will not only help the government meeting its tourism target, but also provide a boost for the local economy by creating jobs and increasing trade. Starting from the last October in 2015, foreign yachts are no longer required to apply for clearance approval for Indonesian territory permit. This is a new approach that Indonesian government has implemented starting from 2015. This policy is projected to increase the number of yachts, big ship to visit the Indonesia islands, all Indonesian islands. And in 2019, we expected more than 6,000 yachts will be visiting the islands. And we expecting it will create an income of more than 600 million US dollar. Passenger for foreign cruise can disembark on Jakarta Tanjung Priok Port, Surabaya Tanjung Perak Port, Medan Belawan Port, Makassar Port, and Bali Port. There are many cruise lines which have been operating tours around Singapore, Langkawi, Phuket, and now they move to Indonesia. These cruise and their load of passengers can now be invited visited any island in Indonesia to explore the beauty of Indonesia. Another potentially strong approach is to hold international water sport tournaments in many places in Indonesia. There are numerous events that are already held regularly, such as International Musi Tree Boating in Palembang. Musi is the longest river in South Sumatra. we also organize Tour de Bintan, Bintan Triathlon, and multiple surfing championship in Bali, Lombok, and Mentawai, an island especially known for its challenging wave. It's executed well. If executed well, this event can also entice more tourists to come and spend time in Indonesia. My ambassador also would like to highlight a little bit about the challenge that we face. Marine and coastal tourism is susceptible to climate change, natural disaster, pollution, and many other environmental challenges caused by, for instance, this day we are all countries facing the plastic debris at the sea. The sea level rise anticipated from climate change is the biggest long-term threat facing the tourism industry in many small island states, where most tourism infrastructure lies just above sea level. In short term, unmanaged mass tourism can negatively impact on coastal ecosystem. Sustainable tourism, including ecotourism, can have significant impact on the recovery and conservation of this ecosystem. Tourism are starting to pay attention on ecological standard and certification, applying not only to destination and the tourist infrastructure, but also to any other businesses, hotel, and of course the behavior of tourism and transport operator. Global declaration and commitment on tourism, such as the Manila Declaration on World Tourism, the Hague Declaration, and the Tourism Bill of Rights and Tourism Code, the Charter of the Sustainable Tourism approved during the World Conference on Sustainable Tourism in 1995, underlined the need to develop a kind of tourism that meet both economic expectation and, of course, environmental requirement, and respect not only the social and physical structure of its destination, but also the local population. Part of Indonesian sustainability tourism program is the tourism village. Villages across the country are encouraged nowadays to develop sustainable tourism as envisaged by the government during the United Nations World of Tourism Organization meeting recently. Examples are the Tangkahan village near the Mount Lauser in North Sumatra and Pemutaran village in Bali. There are just too many villages in Indonesia that offer unique ecotourism attraction. Tourists visiting those areas, which is known as a fishing village where residents are active in marine conservation, can go diving and snorkeling while participating in activity like coral conservation and feeding the turtle. Aside from Indonesian sustainable tourism program, the government would also add more sustainable tourism observation STO in 7 locations, adding to the 5 existing STO. The STO monitor research give recommendation to the local government on how to develop sustainable tourism. To conclude, on this special, as you may be aware, today we celebrate 70 years of bilateral relation between Indonesia and the Philippines. On this special commemoration of 70 years of diplomatic relation between Indonesia and the Philippines, both countries agreed to further strengthen bilateral cooperation, especially in maritime and marine sector. Being known for its potential, the maritime and marine sector is a great resource for both Indonesia and the Philippines. Geographically and historically, Indonesia and the Philippines are sharing similar characteristics. Both are archipelagic states, and we share border and connected to the unity of the sea. I think that's all the message from the ambassador. Thank you for your kind attention in this matter. I'm looking forward to discuss with you further about this issue. But last but not least, I would like to express our appreciation and gratitude to everyone who worked hard to make this event possible. And I hope that the rest of today you can have a fruitful discussion and we can come up with a recommendation and idea that can be an input for both government to further promote a collaboration between the two countries in the tourism sector and tourism industry. Once again, thank you very much. Maraming salamat. Mabuhay.
I would like to invite Dr. Nasution.
Well, it is my mistake. I was supposed to, coach you or give you the direction as far as the quiz is concerned. But remember, this is a learning process, right? I hope you still remember of what the minister has mentioned just now. I would strongly advise you to keep your note and take important points, yeah? Because, we're going to have the first quiz this morning. Yeah, this morning, right after Dr. Nila's presentation. Please, yeah? So we are going to distribute papers to you and answer the quiz. Yeah, Dr. Grazel is going to, walk through the cases, the quizzes itself, and you, put it down. And then we're going to collect it, and Dr. Grazel is going to give what the answer is as far as the quiz is concerned. So the first one, of course, we have the minister to some sort of answer some question just in case. Dr. Rupan, thank you.
Okay, it's our time to ask any questions, any observations you have. Maybe you're thinking about visiting Indonesia. That's excellent. So this is the time. We're going to take one question at a time. So go ahead. Okay, we have one question up there, Brother Bruce, from David. I would like to request you to introduce yourself briefly and then give your question.
Good morning, Minister Budi. Thank you so much for being here and thank you so much for your presentation. I'm David Zebedius. I'm one of the seminary students, though, in IAS, but I'm interested in joining this program and wanting to know more about my country, especially in terms of the tourism and the hospitality industries. In relation to your presentation, I would like to just inquire in regard to this economic development. Based on your presentation and your experience, as well as what you have observed in the embassy office, how about the political situations that may affect our economic development, especially in regard to the hospitality and tourism economic development? Because I believe this is very potential to our country. However, there are also some situations that may affect the economic development or the economic environment in our country, because our president has affirmed that our economy should be developed in order for us to be a developed country. But in the same time, there are some political situations that I believe also now are going on in Indonesia. So what do you think about the political situations when we are trying to develop our country?
Thank you, David, for your question. Yes, my government have decided to put a tourism industry is one of the prime mover of Indonesian economy, because with the 17,000 million that with many untapped, beautiful and potential area, we would like to boost more economic development through the tourism industry. Yes, there are some political situation in Indonesia, but we hope that by the end of there is a process that happening now with regard to Indonesian election process, and hopefully we will settle all those differences as soon as possible. And it is important also for me to inform you that this not affect that much on tourism industry. We are lucky that the booking is still full. The flights going to several tourism destination is still fully booked. And today, the next week, we will have a big tourism promotion here in the Philippines in 3 different cities, in Manila, in Bacolod, and also in Iloilo. We are looking forward to welcoming millennials to visit Indonesia, because there are some very, what is it called, yeah? Challenging or tourism destination that all millennials love to explore. I hope that our target now is millennials. And the way we approach our tourism promotion is also different now. Yeah, we have to go in line with the lifestyle of millennials. So we do hope there will be no political discrepancies in Indonesia. We will have a peaceful Indonesia in the near future, and we will have a developed Indonesia in 2000, because the world has projected that Indonesia will be the best 30 countries in the world in economic development by the years 2050. Thank you.
Minister Dewajani, I would like to give you a follow-up question to that. What we see in the media sometimes is focused, on, we see demonstration. And I mean, you mentioned about the just completed election. And what we see in television are demonstration. Can you tell us, is it widespread? Is it all across Indonesia, or is it concentrated in one place? Demonstration is a manifestation of political right. Does it mean security issue? Is demonstration a security issue? Because I think the question is not so much about politics, but it's more about security. So is the presence of demonstration a security issue? And is it widespread across the country? Or is it just concentrated in one place?
Thank you, Pak. Media, we cannot stop the media to airing things, yeah? Yes, there is some demonstration. It's like happen everywhere in the world after election. One party certified with the result of the election, while other party think that this is unfair election. So the process is still going on, as David just mentioned earlier, and as you asking that, yes, the demonstration mostly concentrated only in Jakarta, while other part of Indonesia is peaceful. Children going to school as usual, people going to the farms, business works as usual. So there is nothing to worry if you want to visit Indonesia.
Thank you. We have Mr. Nasution.
Thank you, Minister. I would like to ask one question. It's also a very important question here. What is your perception as far as the follow-up questions of Brother David just now, as far as the political turmoil or political upheaval that would affect the Philippine tourism and hospitality development from your perception during your assignment here in the Philippines?
Pak Nasution, for instance, give me an example. My Indonesian colleague in Indonesia who never been visiting Philippines. Media can bring a different impression about country. Like many Indonesia, always some asking in our consular section and our information department, is it safe visiting Philippines? Is it there are many bombs in the Philippines? You know, and then that is their impression. They got it from the media. Like the same thing happened in Indonesia. My impression, the after election there will be a apa ya, way out that is very positive for me. Just we need a little bit passion to wait the result of our legal process about the election, and hopefully by September or before, even before, everything will be settled down, finished, and we start to continue our development process. We do hope that Indonesia will grow better in the future with the new government.
Thank you. Another question, please? Okay, Edivaldo.
Good morning, Doc. Thank you for your presentation. I'm Edivaldo, one of the students here in graduate school. My question is in relation to the immigration process, which I find interesting because people from my country, we are visa free from the Indonesia, to go to Indonesia. But I have encountered a situation which was not so pleasant when I visit Indonesia for evangelistic meeting. I was with someone who was the same color as me, and that person also had the same document, but different destination. Unfortunately, he was denied to get into the country. So could it be that this situation may prevent foreigners to come to Indonesia to explore and to just contribute to the economics as well?
Maybe you are aware that Indonesian government is over privileges to more, how many countries? Huh? 160 countries across the world to visit Indonesia for free without any visa. Or but for others, you can apply visa on arrival. I don't know where you experience this. We do apologize for your experience. That maybe this is only a person or apa, someone who in charge for immigration desk at the airport. Unfortunately, it's affect you. But I don't think there is any difference treatment for anyone who want to visit Indonesia. Now even are you coming from Africa or South America? Africa. Now there is a one flight ada penerbangan baru tuh apa namanya? There is a direct flight Ethiopian Airlines flying to Indonesia. And now last year we organized a big event on Africa in Jakarta, and we also organized a big event of Indonesia and Africa. During the last 5 years, the bilateral relation and regional relation between Indonesia and Africa are very, very close. Hopefully, come and visit again Indonesia, and hopefully there will be no bad experience that you will face when you visit Indonesia.
Mrs. Minister, could you give our audience here some tips? Because I believe that our immigration policy is designed to enhance, improve the immigration experience. But this is an example of an event of an unpleasant experience. Could you give some tips that will help all of us? So one day we may visit Indonesia. What are the tips that we can take with us to avoid any problem?
To avoid any problem, one thing that you can do is you contact embassy, our embassy in Manila. We have hotline line that you can call us at any time, 24 hours. And you all, if you are in Manila, you can visit our embassy, and our consular section would be happy to assist you how to visit Indonesia without experiencing any bad experience like that. So secondly, there is a website from our Ministry of Foreign Affairs and our Ministry of Tourism that you can explore. There is some regulation that you can read. Before you visit Indonesia, then you already prepare what kind of requirement that you have to meet before visiting.
Thank you. One last question. We have 4 minutes to go.
Maybe just a comment rather than a question. Thank you, Minister, very much for that very fine presentation. I am Ken Swansea. I teach here from India, and I have visited Indonesia 2 or 3 times, and I have been very, very impressed by the consular service at the Indonesian embassy here, and also I've had very pleasant experience visiting places. One of my problems or complaints sometimes is that a country like Indonesia that has so much to offer, and there's so much of diversity that there is there, so much to see, so much of destinations, so much of culture, the cuisine, and all the rest. Yet, in the world media, there is not enough of promotion. And I'm so happy that you have supported this idea of sailing forward and promoting tourism. And I wish to see more adverts, more promotions, and especially in the West, Europe or in the US, and also a place like India. There are a lot of Indians that are actually going to Malaysia, perhaps Thailand, but not as many to Indonesia, which, in my opinion, is a much diverse and better tourism destination. And so, if we can connect with some of the larger countries in the world, I think a lot can be done. So that there is people-to-people contact and cultural exchange, and also there would be an understanding between nations. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pak. Thank you for the input. Yes, because Indonesia is very big, there are a lot of area that not known enough in the world. Our Minister of Tourism aware of this, and during the last 5 years, we start making a big promotion in all over the world, in Europe, in America, in all the where the tourists come from. And we also now would like to have more millennial tourists. So we also collaborate with influencer, vlog blogger and everything to promote more Indonesia. Yes, I will forward their input to our minister to make an improvement on our promotion program. Is there any? If the lady would like to ask, you want to ask?
Thank you for your presentation. I'd like to share my experience when I went to Indonesia. I was with Dr. Ruhapati and some of the professors here. I had the chance to do diving as well. So with regards to the title, I just like to ask, is there any activities that you could do sustainability for the ecotourism? Thank you.
Thank you. As I mentioned just a little bit in the ambassador presentation, that the Indonesian government, the government of the provincial level and district level and at the village, we work together with the community to prevent our coastal area from the environmental problem. So in this regard, the government of Indonesia now, Indonesia now become one of the initiator for how global the world to address their plastic debris. We are all facing many coastal countries facing the same problem of how to solve the plastic debris in our coastal area. In this regard, the government of Indonesia will work together with the government of the Philippines. We are agreed to work together in this area. Secondly, we also encourage all NGO and community-based organization to give many training on how to protect our environment in coastal area.
Thank you so much for your questions, your observation, and we thank you, Minister Dewajani, for the answers and enlightenment. And we hope you have learned something from her presentation and be convinced that Indonesia is a place to visit. So on behalf of Adventist International Institute of Advanced Studies Graduate School, we present the Certificate of Appreciation to Minister Budi Dewajani for presenting the topic, Maritime Role in Developing the Tourism and Hospitality Industry during the Sail Forward Tourism Business Opportunities 2019 seminar, given this day on the 18th of June 2019 in Silang Cavite, Philippines, signed by Dr. Kenneth Swansea, the chairperson for the business department, and Dr. Samuel Gaikwad, the acting dean for the graduate school. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister, for the presentation. I have not introduced to you one distinguished guest, of course. We have here Honorable Laswardi Nasution. He is the attaché of trade attaché. So welcome, sir. Okay, so he's my brother. Yeah, Nasution also the same. So I should introduce him. Okay, thank you.
All right, we are done with the first session of the morning. That was indeed an insightful presentation and discussion. How many of you took notes during the session one, during the presentation? May I see your hands if you took notes? Please be reminded that there will be a quiz. There will be a first a quiz session at 11:05, and we will be having our break at 10 o'clock. But before the break, I believe we would like to keep our minds stimulated. We would like to still keep focused on the presentation. So we will be given a musical treat from one of the lovely